Ladies and gentlemen, Matt and Ryan, live from the Broken Hammer.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. Before we take this shot is dedicated. We lost a very special person. The world did, actually. This one's for Kobe. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, man. Very, very tragic event took place recently. This past Sunday.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
No, it's going.
Okay. I was getting nervous.
And
yeah, I was pretty shook.
we lost a legend, a basketball legend, Kobe Bryant. He was a father of four. Played in the NBA for a long time. 5-time champion. Several-time All-Star. Finals MVP twice. You know, his work speaks for itself. Our generation, I feel we were lucky because we got to see the tail end of Michael Jordan's career, and it led right into Kobe Bryant's career. We got to see some great basketball. But more importantly, like the stuff that he did off the court, you know, in retirement, was huge. He was a big part of his communities. He did a lot for his communities. He did a lot for sports. He did a lot for athletes all over the world. Like, he had an impact on so many people that it's insane. He would just text athletes, you know, like rookies, veterans, just people. If a basketball player got injured, like a really gruesome injury, he would text them, and he'd be the first person to like call them and start motivating them and like, what's our plan? How are we going to get you back? He was like the epitome of hard work. He was, anytime you thought about somebody that, you know, was all about working hard and, you know, doing your best and really pushing for your goals, you always thought about Kobe. Is that Mamba mentality that they talk about, you know, like he was dedicated to whatever it is that he put his mind to. Like, he worked as hard as he possibly could, and there was no excuses. He always worked to get better at everything that he did, and I feel like the world is lucky to have that kind of influence in their life, you know. We watched some motivational stuff. I don't know about you guys, but, you know, after the announcement, you know, I sat there for a while like, that's insane, you know, how tragic it was. There was a lot of stories floating around about who was on the plane or whatever, the helicopter. But at the end of it, it's just like, he was so young. He was doing so much. Like, it was too soon. He was
what, 41?
41.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then
super young.
To go through that with his daughter is insane.
So I heard that apparently Kobe made an agreement with his wife. He came up and he was like, "Hey, you know, I'm going to practice. I'm going to games. Yada yada." In the helicopter, we should never be in the helicopter at the same time. God forbid,
dude. And you know what?
I heard that too.
That speaks a little too close for me too. Like, because my brother-in-law and my sister, they have a plane together, and they had to like do a lot of that insurance paperwork. And like, recently we had to like sit down and like, you know, if something happens to my niece, like who's going to like take care of her? What's the plan? You know, like, we had to like sign all this paperwork and all this stuff. And it's like, it's a shitty thing to have to think of, but it's like a very real thing. So it's like, when you say that, I believe it 100%, 100%. Like, that's a legitimate thing that you have to consider is like, okay, if we're both together and this thing goes down, what's going to happen?
Right.
There needs to be somebody.
I mean, with 4 kids, you know, God forbid.
God forbid it happens. You know, you don't want it to happen. But
I mean, it's showing you how intelligent of a man he was for even thinking of that.
Even considering that.
I mean, everything I watch, every single thing, it's just like everybody's talking nothing but amazing things about Kobe. Yeah. Rather as how in touch with people he was, how close to just random people.
Yeah, you hear all these stories about athletes that are just like, oh my gosh, yeah, you know, like I had this really great game and Kobe, like, you know, texted me and it's insane just how many people he influenced and how many people he cared about, you know, like he really was about pushing people to do better. And it's like, okay, you did this. All right. What are you going to do next? Like, what's the next step? How are you going to get better? So we lost a real one. For sure. And
yeah, I was pretty shocked.
It's a bummer. So we're going to take a quick break from the audio because the video is not catching up.
So do I Tucker and I have to hold the show, or are we just going to take a break? No, I can just edit that out. Oh, okay.
So we'll be back.
Huh?
Are we still going?